So, and this came as a surprise to a lot of people. Bangladesh really was absolutely booming with regard to its development and to economy. And
আপনারা দেখছেন প্রবাহ নিউজ। লাইক কমেন্ট শেয়ার করে আমাদের সাথে থাকুন।
Your Excellency, German Ambassador from Dainik Prabaho, Daily Prabaho's TV station. So, good evening.
good evening, Mr. Rahman. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I reckon this is your first visit to the southern part of Bangladesh.
Yes, that's the first visit, and it's really exciting.
And how do you feel, sir?
Yeah, it's really exciting. It's great. It's so green. It's beautiful. There are so many things to see. I love this.
And you know, this is the land of tigers and the land of Sundarbans. You know, it's a part of UNESCO World Heritage declared by UNESCO. So how do you feel? You already visited Bagirhat, you mentioned earlier.
No, I have not yet seen the Sundarbans. I will go there next week, accompanying Secretary of State for Climate Action. She will arrive in the middle of next week. I'm disappointed I've so far not seen any tiger.
Oh, hopefully next time you will be able to see many tigers. German and Bangladesh, the relationship. Germany is one of the first European countries to recognize Bangladesh's independence from Pakistan, establishing diplomatic relation since 1972. So now we fulfilled 50 years of glorious and harmonious, healthy diplomatic relation between Germany and Bangladesh. How do you feel?
Well, I think we're looking back on 50 very successful years. Both countries have developed. My country has developed, but also, and this came as a surprise to a lot of people, Bangladesh really was absolutely booming with regard to its development and to economy. And we do not only celebrate this year 50 years of diplomatic relations, but also 50 years of development cooperation. And I'm very proud that my country could contribute a bit to this absolutely stunning development that Bangladesh has taken in recent times.
And it's amazing to hear. And it's not easy to continue 50 years diplomatic relationship. And it's really lovely for Bangladeshi people. And for Bangladeshi people, it's totally unforgettable, the relation created by German government.
Yes, thank you very much. I am very grateful for all these nice words I always receive wherever I am. But I think now, after 50 years, we should not only look back and celebrate what we have achieved in common, but we should also should look forward. And I think there are a lot of areas where Germany and Bangladesh can successfully cooperate. Let me just mention the climate adaptation, mitigation, and so on.
And so, you know, Germany has invested many times before, for years in Bangladesh, in many sectors. Which sectors do have vast possibilities for German investment in Bangladesh? What do you think, sir?
Well, it depends on the entrepreneurs and the factory owners in Germany. Normally, they don't pass by an embassy. It depends on the condition that every country offers for investments. And Bangladesh is only one of the countries that wants to attract foreign direct investment. And I think the attractiveness for German investments depends on the situation that is being created on the ground. And if you want to know what are the best creations or what should be done, I think one should only look at the publications of the World Bank or the IMF. It is clearly recommended what could be done even more by Bangladesh to even more attract foreign direct investment.
Definitely, that's really amazing. So, you know that German heavy industry. It's really who don't know about German heavy industry, like automotive industry, in many things, machines industry, electronics, aerospace, and many more. So do you have any endeavor or plan to establish German heavy industry with joint venture in Bangladesh?
So far, I must say, I don't know anything about concrete meant with that.
Yes,
but that would also be surprising because we in Germany, we have a free market economy, and the big actors, they don't necessarily pass by an embassy. They have their own network of entrepreneurs. They come to us when they want to settle some issues with the government. They are concerned of some legal regulations, but usually these big players, they don't need a small embassy.
So do you have any personal efforts to interlink our Bangladesh representatives and the German representatives to establish this kind of heavy industries here?
Yes, of course. We are asked by some of the bigger actors that are here on the ground,
Yes.
for example, like Siemens, and sometimes also those who sell machinery here,
Yeah.
to intervene and to help them, and we do our best to give them advice or to lead them to consultants and to orient them, and also to sometimes to introduce them to government. That's quite normal. That's also what your embassy in Berlin does for Bangladeshi
And if it
entrepreneurs.
happens, definitely the Bangladeshi people will be benefited from this. So let's talk about the German education. Who don't know about the German education? They are providing top-class education from the top-class universities, their top-class universities and the educational institutions in German. Who knows the champion and the acme level of educational institutions in the world? Germany ranked 1. Who knows? But sir, Bangladesh is producing doctors, engineers, and other talented students from different disciplines. Some students here they want to study abroad for the betterment of their educational advancement. Will you step up to increase more Bangladeshi students in Germany? What do you think, sir?
Yeah, you're touching upon a sensible point, because I shouldn't be hypocrite on that. The demand for I think we owe us, after 50 years, and we are good friends of both our countries, we owe us some honesty.
Yes.
We have a huge demand of young Bangladeshi students who want to go to Germany. And a lot of them also find places in German universities, but they are faced with a big backlog of visa applications in the embassy. So if you have plans to study abroad in Germany and you qualify for that, make sure that you have at least 1 year time, because the demand is so high and the capacity of our visa section in the embassy is unfortunately so small. What I would advise, either you have these 12 or 13 months and the demand is rising, so I cannot promise that everybody will get a visa in 1 year. So if the demand, the number of applications rises, then the waiting time will be even longer. What I would advise somebody who is really willing to study in Germany is, I would first of all finish my bachelor studies, the first studies in Bangladesh or somewhere else, and then try to qualify for superior studies or to carry out doctorate studies. Because then the chances of getting swiftly a visa are much better, and I think you can much better benefit from the quality of the superior education, university education. And I would also like to give an advice. You should be able to speak some words in German, because not everybody in Germany speaks English. And also I've, please forgive me these remarks, I've seen that perhaps the level of English of some of the applicants may not be sufficient to carry out good study. So this would be my advice, to brush up on your knowledge in English and also in German. And I may also give a hint to the possibility of asking for a scholarship
Yes.
There is the academic exchange service called DAAD.
GAD.
That gives every year a bit more than 20 scholarships for 2 years in Germany, and I think that's quite an attractive offer.
Yes, definitely. So about medical treatment, the German is representing themselves the top class medical treatment, research, medical study. So do you have any plan to develop kind attention for making it easier getting emergency medical visa for the Bangladeshi people?
But so far, I wasn't informed on any difficulties in getting these visas. But the perhaps unfortunate for a lot of people who need this treatment but who cannot offer it themselves. Medical treatment in Germany is, if you don't fall under the official German insurance, is quite expensive.
Yes.
And before getting a visa, I think the most important thing is you have to give proof of being in possession of enough money to pay the medical treatment. If you have all this, then
it's very easy to get visa.
Then you will face not any single problem in swiftly getting a visa. Please inform us accordingly, because this is normally also time critical.
Oh, that's really good, and that will be very much benefited for the Bangladeshi patients. Do you know about the ready-made garment sector, RMG sectors of Bangladesh? They are doing fantastic for years, and they are producing top-class brands in Bangladesh, and they are serving with the sheer commitment and success. And we are having good terms with German, 30% almost are exported to German. Do you have any plan to lift up this kind of export in the ready-made garment sector? No, we have already good terms with Germany.
Germany is already right now the second largest importer of Bangladeshi ready-made garment products. And my job as representing Germany is to promote German industry and German trade to Bangladesh.
Yes.
But coming back to your question, I think if Bangladesh wants to safeguard its good market position in Germany, I think it has to diversify its offer.
Yes.
I'm repeating the outcome of some studies that have recently been published by the GIZ. I think it is primordial and very important for the ready-made garment industry, if I may repeat this, to diversify and to see to getting added value by producing even more higher quality products. So far, the bulk of the ready-made garment textiles are situated in the lower level. You have rightly mentioned that several of our top brands have their production sites here. I myself have, I'm wearing shirts by them, but this is not the bulk of the exports. The bulk of the export is, as I've said, of lower quality, and I think if the production can turn on to textiles like pullovers and anoraks or suits that give a higher added value here and that reap better prices, the market chances for the Bangladeshi ready-made garment industry remain very high.
And that maybe we are heading to get a boom on this sector, and hopefully it will be done. So second last questions that I already mentioned is the bilateral relations between Germany and Bangladesh are on top. So Germany has played an unavoidable role in Bangladesh's development, and Germany and Bangladesh are maintaining an excellent bilateral relationship for years after years.
Yeah.
So what more do you want to contribute to this growing nation?
If I may just pick out one element. 2 weeks ago, we had bilateral intergovernmental consultations on our future development cooperation, and my government could propose the establishment of a climate and development partnership.
Yes.
And in the center of this partnership, would be measures for climate adaptation.
Yes.
Because one of the center points of the policy of my country is the fight against climate change and to help us all stand against the negative consequences of this. And I think this is a sector where Bangladesh and Germany can cooperate very successfully. We have some, I think, interesting technology to offer. We can cooperate also in the realm of renewable energies.
Yes.
In the solar sector. I think mentioning just these two sectors, they offer a very broad perspective
Yes.
For a very successful future of our cooperation.
And finally, last but not the least, that Germany is doing fantastic controlling the environmental disaster. The whole world is suffering in the environmental disaster, global warming, and many more things. What's your consideration about the fact of environmental issues, that Germany is the only country have taken many initiatives to dissolve many weird things what the other rest of the countries are experiencing nowadays? So Germany has done fantastic. So what's your consideration, sir, Your Excellency? Or how do you evaluate these things, that Germany did this, why other countries cannot do this?
No, I would not say that. I think I feel flattered by your praise, but we are also only humans. We have also our flaws. We have offered some technologies that are state of the art and that can lead into a better future. I was just mentioning solar energy. We performed quite well in the area of renewable energy. So these are the sectors we can cooperate with. We have taken some very drastic measures with regard to protecting the environment and the climate. We have reduced on the use of brown coal.
Yes.
We are significantly reducing the use of coal, and we will close our nuclear energy plants. Because we, in contrast with what several of our partners think, we think that this is not a sustainable form of energy supply. Those who may follow us on that are invited to do so. Some remain to be convinced. I know that Bangladesh is just building a nuclear power plant.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Ambassador, for joining us and for joining the Daily Pravaho studio, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having you.
আপনারা দেখছেন প্রবাহ নিউজ। লাইক, কমেন্ট, শেয়ার করে আমাদের সাথে থাকুন।